Welcome back to this great edition of Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net. We are your choice for the conservative voice. Our guest today is Representative Tom Morrison. And before the break, Tom, we were talking about pensions. You had a bill that was presented.
Yeah, I sit on the House Pension Committee,
Right.
and I introduced a bill this past spring that effectively moves workers from the defined benefit system we have, public sector workers who are in the 5 state plans. I want to specify that. So the 5 state plans would be teachers, university workers and staff, state employees, judges, and General Assembly members.
Okay.
Those are the 5 state
You
plans.
included the judges?
My plan includes the judges.
And
Yeah.
mostly they leave them out because the judges will have the final say-so.
In the Madigan bill, in the Madigan bill, the judges were left out. So, but my bill takes care of all 5 plans.
Okay.
And what it does is it freezes what those members have earned up to this point. So say someone has worked for 10 years, that gets frozen. Those credits get frozen. So when that individual reaches retirement age, they would get a benefit based upon those 10 years of work.
Okay, so I've worked for 10 years. I've made $100,000. I'm frozen now. That's all that I will be able to get in as my pension reimbursement?
If you've worked for 10 years, then you've earned what are called credits.
Okay.
So your final percentage of the pension amount that you would receive is based upon 2 factors: what your salary is, or an average of your salary in your last years, and how long you've worked. So
Normal working, like for Social Security, would be something over 40 years. When people, they'd start in their 20s and they'll get it in their mid-60s. With teachers, it's about usually 30 to 35 years because they'll retire at age 55.
And they get spiked at the end.
I'll use my uncle as an example. I have an uncle who taught on the North Shore, taught high school for approximately 10 years. Then he moved out to California and he started working out there. Once he reached retirement age, he started getting a pension check from the state of Illinois that right now is about $7,000 a year. That's because, which is not an exorbitant amount of money, but it's based upon those roughly 10 years that he worked as an Illinois teacher.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay?
I mean, that's fine.
So that's a
because he probably
defined benefit, right?
Did he put he probably put about 7,000
How old
in.
is the uncle?
He's in his late 60s.
Well, okay, so you're reaching back into the years when the salaries and the pensions were a good deal more reasonable. Today, they are outraged. Take the example, we're sitting in District 300 here. The superintendent has left, and I'm going to be close but not exact on what he's making. But at the time he left, and he retired at something like 55 or 56, he was making about $200,000 a year. His pension works out close to $200,000 too. What happens? About every 5 years, there'll be another superintendent from District 300 who will retire at roughly age 55. They never did any heavy lifting, so these guys will live damn near as long as I
Like Tom
have.
said, the people are living
So they'll
longer.
live to, let's say, till 85. So they got 30 years of that. What you've got is one guy working for $200,000 a year and a parade of 6 or 7 of them up all the way to 85 off of just one job. You got 6 on, and they're all making about the same salary. You got the same thing for a whole bunch of people have gamed the system. The one that's in charge of the finances, the same thing. There's a lot of teachers that have been smart about this
And
thing.
that's why we're broke.
And they've colluded, not illegally, but they've colluded under the law to get themselves pensions up to $150,000. Some of them up to $300,000 a year.
Right.
This for a little more than a half-time job. That's 170 days a year, not 240. That's 5 or 6 hours a day, not 8. This is what you get with a teaching thing.
So
we're paying really through the nose. Imagine that parade of people for one job. You just take 200,000 times maybe 7. That's what, $1.4 million?
But
your
the important
bill
thing
would
is what
prevent-
it
$1.4
does.
per year?
What my bill would do is it caps the liability that the state has.
So what Jack is talking about, that will not continue.
Right, it won't continue because the contribution will be based strictly on, or the employer contribution, so that'd be the school district. And again,
taxpayers.
Ultimately, this is taxpayers.
Taxpayers.
When I hear people say, well, the state needs to pay this, the state made a promise, I have to reemphasize, who is the state? It's us. It's all of us. It's the 12 million plus Illinoisans.
And taxpayers.
That's who it is. And in a defined benefit system, when the markets don't return what we expect them to, or when individuals in the defined benefit plan, when they live to a ripe old age, who's making up the difference? It's everyone else in the state.
Right. So exactly what Jack is talking about, this bill that you presented. Now pensions are coming up. They're on the 19th of June of this month, so they're already a couple
past
it. So, what do you think this problem is going to progressively be solved?
So far, we still have the majority of state reps and state senators who are stuck in the defined benefit mode. They don't want to modernize our state pension system. Other states have done it. Rhode Island now has a plan where the current workers have been rolled over into a defined contribution plan. Or we call it a hybrid, because they're going to get a guarantee for what they've earned up to this date, but it's not going to be a guarantee for the rest of their lives.
Put a figure in there. This thing is so outrageously manipulated that the deficit in this plan to pay the thing that is the way it's running now in the K-12 system is about $160 billion. It is the ones that have already retired that have got a mammoth, huge amount of money. There's no way to pay it. And
we don't have the luxury of doing small steps.
It almost sounds like a scam. And speaking of that, go to Champion News, get your Illinois Pension Scam book. And you know what? Stay with us. We are going to come back right after the break.